After 15 weeks, finally, Shanghai Disneyland has reopened to the public after much public fanfare as well as safety measures. Earlier, I spoke with the head of operations here who told me about some of these protocols in order to try to maintain social distancing.
So what you see here is one of our main entry areas into the park. And so we have a couple different types of markers that we use. So as you're further out in the queues where maybe it's more of a secondary area, guests are first arriving, we have just basic yellow markers. We ask our guests to stand as a group together. So as a family or as a group of friends, they can stay together on a line. We also have cast members that will be patrolling all the queues with social distancing signs, asking our guests to maintain that respectful distance with everybody. And we also have public announcements to continue to reinforce that message. And that's the linear piece. And then even between queues, we're keeping a social distance between those queues too.
So how do you maintain social distancing on the rides?
All right, so for a ride like Pirates of the Caribbean, which has a large vehicle, we look to make sure our guests have separation between parties and also between rows. So as our guests are loading in, you'll see we put an empty seat between each group and then also an empty row between each of the rows. So therefore, our guests can have social distance. Okay, so as we enter the restaurant, first thing we ask our guests to do is use the hand sanitizer, wipe their hands clean. Sorry. Okay, and then when you come inside this restaurant, the first step is to go get your food. So we'll walk up to the queue in order to pick up your food. Yeah. And similar markings as we use throughout the park. We use social distancing lines here. They'll be able to walk their way through, pick up, order their food, and then pick up their food here.
Is the menu any different?
The menu is exactly the same. But in this restaurant, it's very similar. All the restaurants, the menus are staying the same, but some of the service styles may be different. So we're not doing buffets. We're going to have a buffet concept, but we actually will serve the food for you. Definitely want to use some hand sanitizer, especially after you go through the transaction with our cast member, because we want to make sure if people feel they need to after cash handling or credit cards or those kinds of means of payment, we want to cover that. But we actually are encouraging all of our guests to use contactless payment.
What's going to be different?
We've definitely done things differently as far as how we think about the character greetings and the entertainment in the park. So we have to maintain social distancing, so shorter appearances with our characters. Characters may be up on stages, so maybe up on the castle. We'll have princesses greeting our guests from the castle balcony versus the normal, one-on-one meet and greets that we would typically have.
Do you think we'd be able to have a close-up photo with Mickey?
We will.
Hugging?
Due to social distancing, we won't have our guests and our characters close together. But again, you can take those selfies and those distance photos, but that's really what we have to follow in this world now with social distancing as a priority.
So Nancy, I think that there are going to be some disappointed kids out there because they won't be able to get their hug with Mickey, but perhaps they're going to be okay with a selfie, at least to the next time they come to the park.